Yeah, tell a man, geek talk. Let's enjoy the show. Tell a man, always got a plan. Geek talk is popping where it's really at. Represents geek culture, homie got structure. Sometimes focus, real catch culture. Feel like Goofy, smart to say the least. Loving One Piece, man, really loves to eat. Everybody knows the show is really is. Tell a man, you know what time it is. Let's go, geek talk.
Down south, not gonna have myself a time.
Friendly faces everywhere, humble folks without temptation.
Going down south, not gonna leave my woes behind.
Ever parking day on earth, people spouting howdy never.
And on up south, not gonna see if I can't unwind. So come on down south, Buck, and meet some friends of mine.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Geek Talk with Tyler. As always, I'm your host, Tyler. Today I'll be joined by my associate, Bradley. Bradley, how you doing today?
Doing fantastic, Tyler. What about you, buddy?
Pretty good. Before we get this episode rolling further, you want to tell the audience a bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, where people can find you, etc., etc., etc.?
Yes, you can. What I do is actually work for the movie theater in Ankeny, Iowa. I'm also a podcaster. I have my podcast, The Fandemic, where I release typically between 2 and 3 shows every week on that show, all kind of a different flavor. I do one that's called A Lone Star, where I kind of review bad reviews, and then I have my one with what I do with a buddy of mine, kind of a little bit more open. And we talk about things that could have lead into your favorite movies, TV shows, and so much more. And then I have a conversation where I have conversations with amazing people like Tyler here, and it's a lot of fun. And that is The Fandemic, anywhere you get podcasts.
I have been on that show, and it is pretty awesome. We just talked about gargoyles to some length, and incidentally, hashtag keeping in gargoyles, but we will not be talking about gargoyles in this episode, no. Instead, we will be talking about another personal favorite, and to wrap up this phase, I think none other should be explored than the world of South Park. Now, Bradley, let me ask you, how long have you been a South Park fan?
Since the beginning, actually. South Park is... It kind of fits in that category with The Simpsons, and it's like one of those where you could just turn it on. It doesn't matter what episode, it doesn't matter what season or how many times you watched it. You're gonna get some good belly laughs. You're gonna just have a good time, and you know, it could be about something or it could be about nothing. They could make fun of everybody or nobody, and it's just great every episode.
I'm gonna put in that, but it's more episodic than chronological, like many of the shows that we have here, like say Avatar: The Last Airbender would be seen as more of a chronological series, as opposed to South Park and The Simpsons that just do random episodes for the random episodes. Though there will be times where they will have callbacks to previous episodes, but it's not necessarily important for the entirety as a whole.
Right? Yeah, that's fair.
But let's look at South Park. Let me ask you, how familiar are you with stop motion animation?
I mean, I love stop motion, so I'm pretty familiar.
Did you know that the very first episode of South Park was stop motion?
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, they used cardboard paper for the very first episode, but then they just drew it afterwards. And like many stop motion, where there's Wallace and Gromit, which I guess technically is more of a claymation thing, or that Pinocchio that got released on Netflix, and everything else like in between, it takes a lot more time and energy.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, which it does, actually, and I understand that. But honestly, this is just the best route to go with in terms of it.
Yeah.
But still gives the whole episode 1 feel to it, just more updated, so to speak.
I really like that.
I mean, you really don't watch South Park for the animation. I mean, there's sometimes episodes that do it really well, like the Imagination Land episodes, the Black Friday trilogy, and all those other episodes that do it really well.
Yeah, man. South Park kind of hit that nerve where like don't take yourself too serious and that how everything else is serious. I mean, like you could go really, really deep into South Park. You really, really can if you let yourself.
You really can. It's just one of those equal opportunity offender shows. Like they will absolutely make fun of everybody and can. And a lot of the episodes, uh, what you call it? It's one of those episodes where you don't necessarily need to pay attention to it to know what's going on,
Mhm.
or hell, even updates on current information.
Right? I mean, and there's been like a lot. If you watch a lot of the older episodes, and then now, I mean, you could definitely tell that there is a lot of growth in the show, but there's also like no growth. You're like, yeah, Cartman would say that, and
Well, I mean, let's look at Carmen's character, shall we?
yeah, absolutely, he's my
Um,
favorite.
well, yeah, he was based off of young Archie Bunker, so that's only logical that he would be anyone's favorite. But let's look at him specifically. In the very first Halloween special, he dressed up as Hitler because he did.
Right? Yeah.
But then in a more recent episode, he did the whole Cupid Yee thing.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, he's like, the Cupid Yee, which was based off the whole Kanye's album looking a lot like a swastika. They just went
Mm-hmm.
the full 9 yards with that.
Yeah.
And the comeback of Cupid Me, which even further extent just made it go a very dark round. Instead of spreading arrows of love, he spread arrows of bigotry.
Yeah. Yeah, my God, I mean, I can't even not laugh when I start when I think about all this stuff.
A lot of the stuff you hate yourself for laughing.
I
And
know it,
not just
right?
South Park, but the other works of Matt and Trey, whether it's the Broadway show, The Book of Mormon, or
Mhm.
their puppet based play. Um, what's it called? It's I'm losing the title. It's gonna come.
Team America.
Yeah, that's it. I love
Yeah,
their
Team
Kim
America.
Jong Il character.
Hmm. I mean, and then you have like basketball and Orgasmo. I mean, like there's been several, and basketball. I mean, is arguably it's one of my favorite sports movies, and
Yeah, they actually
Orgasmo.
they kind of referenced it
Yeah.
in the what you call it in the episode of where they do was kind of like a quote unquote Passion of the Christ trilogy,
Hmm.
and they reference like, let's get our money back. If something sucks, people should get their money back, like we did for basketball, kind of roasting themselves.
Yeah. Oh man. So what do you like better, basketball or Orgasmo?
Honestly, basketball because they kind of do a little South Park nod to it.
They do, yeah. And actually, I think does basketball predate South Park?
Well, South Park came in the '90s, right?
I think yeah.
And
And
he
I
did the
think
Carmen voice in the '90s, so no.
okay.
So I would say basketball. Don't quote me. Was '99.
You know what? I'm actually gonna look that up right now because now I'm really, really curious because I thought I knew this answer. Basketball.
But no worries. But let's look at the other groups they've managed to tackle. Especially, they think this is the only series where they had 5 episodes pulled off the air, all of which were Muhammad related.
Yeah.
But, uh, but I
Oh,
mean,
so
go ahead.
basketball came out in 1998.
Okay, so yeah, about a year after South Park originally aired.
Yep. So 1998. That's I thought it was a little bit. I thought it was 99 or 2000. But yeah.
But yeah, it's like a lot of. I don't want to get too deep in this project we're working on, but one of the characters dies every episode. So you're like, oh, so kind of like Kenny? Like, no. If anything, he's more like Waspinator, who kind of predates South Park.
And that is a good pull. If for anybody that doesn't know, you should which Waspinator could definitely come back in Marvel.
I mean, technically, it's kind of a fine line situation. Are you like come back in Marvel Comics or come back in Awe Marvel?
I mean anything. I mean he's a obscure character, so like those obscure characters, you just got to throw them in somewhere. You know, you got to get those deep cuts to take to give high fives to fans like you and I.
Well, if funny thing, he actually was supposed to die in the first season of Beast Wars, but the fans loved him so much that they
Mhm.
killed off Pterosaur instead.
Mhm.
Either way,
Now,
Scorponok was going to die, though.
are you ready for the new Transformers movie?
I'm open to it. Michael Bay's not directing it, so it's definitely better, but
Mhm.
I'm open to it. I don't expect anything Oscar winning, but I don't expect like Illumination level quality either.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Man, I tell you what, not to get off of South Park, but Dungeons and Dragons is probably one of the best movies I've seen so far this year. And Super Mario Brothers is fantastic as well.
yeah, I'm kind of glad that Seth Rogen really didn't and wasn't involved in the directing process.
Hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a pleasure to watch and or listen to. His directing skills really aren't up to par. I mean, let's look at what he's directed: Sausage Fest and Santa Inc.
Yeah, and is he directing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
He is actually, yeah.
That's his Mutant Mayhem. Yeah, I don't know. I'm up in the air about that one, man. I mean, like, I love the nostalgia to it. I like the trailer to it. I like where they're going with it. But like I don't know. I'm more of a TMNT Ronin than I am. Let's rehash everything that's already been done. I mean, like John Cena as Rocksteady, or is he Bebop?
No, he's
One of them.
Rocksteady.
Yeah,
I
Rocksteady.
remember that because this is the second time Seth Rogen's going to be voicing a warthog.
Yeah. When did he do it before?
He was Pumbaa in The Lion King because that needed to happen because
Oh,
Disney gets their nips hard for every live action remake in the history of ever. Which, as I'm
yeah.
shitting about it, was another good aspect onto Stan having autism. Or it was either him having autism or just being very cynical of
Mm-hmm.
how
Mm-hmm.
everything is. Or I remember it was around the time where Zookeeper was a movie.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty decent movie too.
I mean, I would say stoner level funny.
Yeah, it was.
But with South Park, some of the episodes are stoner level quality. Some of them are very funny. Some of them do get political when they need to get political. But honestly, out
Mm-hmm.
of all the episodes, I think there's only one really bad episode. I think it was the Pee Wee
Yeah, I mean,
hockey episode, honestly.
man, I don't even know if I remember that episode, but I mean, like, I do agree with you. The one thing about like South Park is no, South Park. Not to take this super deep, but South Park does what comedy is supposed to do. Comedy, nothing is safe. You're supposed to be able to make fun of anything,
You mean
and
what
South
comedy
Park does it.
used to do?
Right, exactly, and they do this amazing. So, I mean, I don't care what their political affiliations or whatever, but like, if they have a funny joke, they're gonna say the funny joke, and it's gonna be a joke. And if you don't get it, that's not a them problem. That's a you problem.
Yeah, but that's something people nowadays have something, what you call it, have a difficult time understanding.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the cancel culture and all that, which I'm surprised that I know many have tried, and everyone has failed to cancel South Park.
And honestly, good for them. I mean, now we are only
Mhm.
getting 6 seasons as opposed to the traditional 14 or so.
Yeah, episodes.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
something I've personally never really understood.
Yeah, I know, man. I know it. It's but hey, we take what we get, like when we're a kid, we take what we get, and we don't throw a fit, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, unless it's like you're really woke or really politically correct. It's
Yep.
like I just find it funny that nowadays that men can dress as women, but if somebody wants to go as a Native American, that's apparently offensive.
Yeah, I know it. I know it's so crazy the world that we live in today. It's just I like to just sit back and just watch the show because it's entertaining at least one way or the other. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna be me. I'm gonna have fun. I don't care who you are, what you identify as. You know what? If we can talk about Batman, Superman, South Park, whatever,
Well, let me
we're
ask you
gonna be
this:
friends.
South Park, You know the whole Simpsons predictions thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there are many times where Family Guy, or not Family Guy, South Park has predicted the future too. Like the episode Mr. Garrison's Fancy New Vagina is just one example thereof.
Yes. I was actually reading an article about that the other day, and it specifically cited that episode. And I was like, whoa.
I mean, nothing about that is necessarily wrong.
Mhm.
It's just a lot of times people don't want to admit it. For the record, I have nothing against the trans community. If you want to see yourself as X, Y, and Z, then go for it.
Same.
But biologically, it's a different field altogether.
Yeah.
And this is another reference they've done with the Board Girls episode,
Hmm.
where they actually bring in Heather Swanson, where the guy's like, oh, you know, Heather Swanson's not your average trans athlete. And then Strong Woman's like, well, what is your average strong trans athlete? I kind of find that offensive. Okay, well, here is Heather Swanson, and we get this Randy Savage-esque looking character.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
So, I mean, personal identification aside, men and women should not be in the same competitive field, which is why there are many uptight feminists that saying men should get paid as much as women. Ideally,
Mhm.
that would be true, but a lot of the times, the more physical works you see men doing, a
Mhm.
lot of the times for dirtier works, like say janitor or plumber or whatever, you see men doing,
Mhm.
or hell, or even stronger works, like say construction crew, guys doing. So in an
Yeah.
ideal world, that would be true, but in realistic world, you got to see the differences.
Yeah. And it's just I think that's just part of the world that we live in today now. Yeah, like I mean, 99% like bricklayers are men, stuff like that. I mean, frontline military stuff like that, and it's just that's just been those roles throughout time, and that's kind of where we're at, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's like, did you read an article that they're no longer calling them mummies?
No,
They're
why?
called, because the correct term is mummified person.
Oh my god.
It's like, if you're going to the museum, no kid is going to see the pots and plants there. They're going to see dinosaurs and mummies.
Yeah, I did see online like you can now buy rings that are made from dinosaur bones, and I'm like, that is one of the coolest things ever. I want a ring. I want to wear a ring that's made out of dinosaur bones. I think, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of dinosaurs without thinking of that South Park episode where they're digging for the fossils. And then Cartman starts singing the slave song, the whole Mecha Barbara Streisand thing.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh
They actually
gosh.
did this into a Q&A about this, about why
Mm-hmm.
did you do this? Oh, because she's such a bitch.
Like there's certain people out there that will answer the questions that you ask, and in those cases, you have to be careful what you ask because you may ask a question that you really don't want the answer to. And I
Or you
love
may have to be
people to be
careful what you answer because you don't know what questions it could further lead into.
exactly, yes.
But what I love about a lot of the celebrities that do get either referenced, made fun of,
Hmm.
or just homaged altogether is that some of them do know how to take it on the chin, and some of them get bitchy about it.
Yeah.
Paris Hilton, Kanye West, Barbara Streisand all got bitchy about it. But characters like Caesar Milan actually found it pretty hilarious.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but like when you are a celebrity, your 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 brand is ripe for satire. I mean, so sorry.
I mean, well, let's look at the three biggest shows, and as far as adult animation goes, shall we? We got your
Mhm.
South Parks, we got Simpsons, and we got Family Guy. Of those three, if you're
Mhm.
going to make an appearance in any of them, which would be I made it as far as the pinnacle of pop culture goes.
Oh, dude, I want to be South Park. Like, I like that animation. I want them to roast me like no other. I want to feel like Anakin on Mustafar by the time I'm done.
Ha, nice. I don't mind if they just make me like like a 300 pound, like, hey guys, welcome to another episode of Geek Talk with Tyler, like that 300 fat ass from what you call it, from the World of Warcraft episode.
Yeah,
It's like, dude, they got my name out there. Awesome. I made it
right?
into South Park.
Oh, dude, like, yeah, I mean, Simpsons, yeah, whatever, fine. Family Guy, but I
I mean,
mean,
a lot of the times when Family Guy does it, it used to be good. Like the whole Tony Robbins bit, or like, will you sign my book, Tony Robbins? Tony Robbins, hungry. It's like, oh yeah, okay, it was a quick getaway about
uh-huh.
that. Simpsons, it wove too much into the story.
Yeah, in Simpsons, I don't even think I've watched even the last probably 5 seasons of Simpsons. To me, like Simpsons, I like their older stuff better. But again, Simpsons is one of those things I can just turn on and just let it go.
Are you saying
know?
that because a lot of the characters got written off due to cancel culture or their actors dying?
No, because I really don't pay attention to that. Like, sad when it comes to like cancel culture and people get canceled. It actually makes me want to watch that stuff more. Like, okay, um,
I mean,
but like,
Apu's no longer there. But then we got
yeah,
Willie, who's also there, even though he's pretty much a Scottish stereotype.
this is true. This is very true. It's like pick a standard and stick to the standard.
I know, it just feels like they want to have their cake and eat it too.
That's fair.
I mean,
That is fair.
I mean, I'm neither Scottish nor Indian, so I'm just trying to look at it through a fair point of view here.
Oh yeah,
Like
you're
you
trying
seriously,
to.
when you think of Scottish people, you think of people like frickin' James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's like
Sean
he's
Connery.
that's his name. Spacing on that. Thank you. But then when you get your Indian, you obviously think of Apu from the what you call it from the Quickie Mart.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. How long has he been gone from The Simpsons? It's been a couple years, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, ever since wokeness and political correction
Mm-hmm.
became a thing,
Mm-hmm.
which now I hear is pretty much killing most forms of media. Like, did you hear about the whole Proud Family fiasco?
No, I did not.
Yeah, in the original series, we see Penny quoting Martin Luther King, which is phenomenal
Mm-hmm.
because he wanted equal rights for all. But
Mm-hmm.
then in the reboot, we go, slaves made this country,
Oh.
which, if you're going to look at it from a historical point of view, no, they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me if this sounds familiar. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, and not only, and slaves weren't introduced into the country until the 1600s, several years afterwards.
This is yeah.
I mean, if anything, we abolished slavery a lot quicker than most countries, and hell, many of whom still have it today. Granted, a lot of them are in the Middle East, but they're still recognized.
Well, in Africa as well. There's been slavery forever, and that's not on race, and yes, it
I
is.
mean,
Slavery
slavery is
is the.
probably, and I hate to say this, one of the most universal concepts out there. It's abysmal, but
Mhm.
like they mentioned this in South Park, without slavery, many of our black friends wouldn't be here. Which is another episode they've done really well. It was the Museum
Yeah.
of Tolerance. They made it into this Nazi-esque camp,
Uh-huh.
but it's only with political correction.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I
Like
don't
one of the
remember that
clips
episode.
they did was Kaya. Oh, they were finger painting,
Mhm.
and what are you finger painting? A bear. A bear? That's not equal tolerance. Start over. Faster, and then he gets a gun. Faster. What did you draw? People of all colors holding hands under a rainbow. Good, that wasn't so hard. Now do it again.
Yeah.
Which is, again, something we joked about, but now it's expected to be the norm.
This is right. This is true.
So we have the trans thing with Mr. Garrison's Fancy Vagina and the Death Camp of Tolerance. Those are two examples thereof.
Mm-hmm.
That I would love to see a Mecha Streisand though.
That would be cool.
I love how they got all these celebrities in it. One of the guys from what was it? The Corn, was it?
Yeah, was it Jonathan Davis?
I think so. Yeah. You got Sidney Poitier in there.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara Streisand as an homage to the old school monsters: Gamera, Mothra, Mecha Godzilla. Nice touch. They really do love putting their touch of Japanese culture in there. Even with the anime-esque episode with the weapons.
Yeah.
I found that very enjoyable. And if you see the song translated into the English version, it doesn't make any sense. Like literally, that's one of the quotes. It doesn't make any sense.
That's awesome.
But did you catch up any of the latest? Did you catch up on the latest season?
I have. I think I haven't watched the finale yet. And I think I'm like 1 or 2 episodes behind, and that's
The
just
finale
because
is about spring break, basically. But the one before it was hilarious. It really shows the modern work ethic due to COVID.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh yeah.
And Carbon finally gets what he wanted, and he's still unhappy. He's kind of like Demona. No matter what happens, you're basically your own worst enemy.
Yeah. And that fits his character perfectly.
It does, and it's part of me wants to feel bad for him, but he did it to himself.
Yeah, and he always does. I mean, like he shoots himself in the foot and kills Kenny a lot.
Well, sometimes he's the responsible death for Kenny, but other times Kenny has killed himself. Sometimes other characters have killed himself. Sometimes he's just a victim of circumstance. Or remember the episode, one of the early episodes where they're doing the whole Civil War reenactment?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're trying to spread that across the country. And they're getting people across the board, right? And Kenny dies. And they did the whole old school writing. Dear Mrs. McCormick, while your son seems to be the only casualty we have so far, I must let you know that we are saddened by his loss. And no matter what happens, I want to make slaves out of Kyle and Stan because I really hate those guys.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome.
And there are a lot of characters there we don't really see anymore. Whether it's the Chikavasaurs, the original aliens, God as this cat-looking leopard thing, or lizard-looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can't English today.
I can't any day, so.
Mr. Hanky is no longer there, but Towley makes a return, apparently.
Mr. Hanky, I'm sure will come back.
He's a racist piece of shit, so I doubt it. I think that was kind of an allegorical aspect they were looking for.
Cool.
The original bus driver just died years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Chef I do miss, honestly.
Chef was such a good character, and there could have been a lot more done with him.
Yeah, but this is one of those. It's like it's a Maud Flanders situation. They're written out due to circumstances with their actor.
Yeah.
In which case, they made fun of his religion, Scientology.
Yeah, that is a whole story as well, man.
I mean, honestly, you're talking to somebody that has ASD and epilepsy, and they made fun of both of those concepts. And I still watch South Park.
Because it's a joke.
Exactly.
Yes.
To my advice, anybody listening to this episode, learn to take it on the chin. Unless they're burning crosses or something, don't take it to heart.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that way with She-Hulk. I really liked She-Hulk because She-Hulk as the character, She-Hulk was created as a parody of Hulk. And that is exactly what the show did.
Yes,
it stayed so true to the right.
I mean, kind of why I like to see her jump roping naked, but
yeah, well,
but it was one of those things that didn't age well.
Right?
Oh, no,
yeah,
twerking's
exactly.
fine, but you can't see her jump rope naked.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to 2023.
And I feel like the whole 2020s, they're just making shit up as they go.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like when one of the cops shot Token, it's like, yeah, hi, this wasn't a victim of this wasn't due to COVID. You shot him. Yes, because of COVID. If you ever saw the COVID specials.
Yes, the COVID specials were amazing. Those were I think I've watched those more than anything else.
I do feel bad about Cartman this particular because he did convert to Judaism. He was a rabbi. He was very happy with the life that he had. And then he fixed time where COVID wasn't really much of a thing just for him
Mhm.
to be homeless.
Yeah.
But the streaming wars where he gets tits was hilarious.
God, yes, it was.
That's something I've never really understood. Do guys not have nipples? Am I missing something here?
No.
All right, so why is it that a woman's chest needs to be covered but not a guy's? Like seriously, no woman out there can honestly say that they've never been attracted to a guy's chest.
Yeah. Hair maybe.
I mean, to be fair, when it's said like that is on a guy, I call them chesticles instead of a rack. But that's just me.
Yeah. Right, man. Moobs. Guys have moobs. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just that's just growing up. That's just been the way it is. It's like why is alcohol legal and weed isn't? You know, it's
I guess it's
been
just one of those the way things are, just the way things are.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and could it change? Sure,
Will it?
but
Probably not.
yeah. I mean, I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed if free the nipple was fine. You know, I mean,
Oh come
okay,
on, no straight pan or bi guy would.
exactly.
I think those are the limits on guys that actually like women. I don't know. I'm not familiar with all these different forms of sexuality, so don't quote me on that.
Hmm.
But as long as you don't get your heart on for animals or your blood relatives, it's whatever.
And kids,
Well, duh.
yeah,
Well, I mean, unless like it's a Japan situation where they consider 14-year-olds to be kids, but I don't want to go down that route either.
yeah, yeah. It's probably a good idea.
Yes, but regardless, they do manage to tackle any modern situation really well. I think.
Yeah, I always picture like when they're writing an episode, they're just scrolling through like a Facebook or something like that, and
I'm
they're
sure some
like,
of them have to. It's like you remember when
right,
Steve Irwin died?
yeah,
Yeah, okay. And in that episode, that following episode, they wrote him in.
mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh my God, somebody's doing a Steve Irwin hunter." He's like, "Dude, come on, you can't do that. It's too insensitive. He just died." Steve, it's me. Oh, well, dude, you have to get out. No costume. Which riddle me
Yeah,
this: if you're having a Halloween party, it's kind of appropriate to wear a costume, right?
yes,
I mean, hell, if people don't wear costumes at Halloween parties, then why don't they just not wear tuxedos and dresses at weddings?
yeah.
Where's the line?
It depends. It's wherever you want to draw it, I guess. Yeah.
Which again was another South Park episode.
Mm-hmm.
They actually got the whole where Cartman was like he was so fat he finally took Kyle's words to heart and gets even fatter and gets a rascal. And then they added the whole Honey Boo Boo bit to it, and they start
Yeah.
sketty wrestling.
Oh my god. Oh, so many good episodes. So many.
Some seasons were better than others, I will admit.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do like the where Mrs. Garrison becomes a lesbian. That was just straight up 300.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say your favorite movie, show, whatever it is that they parodied well?
Oh gosh. I mean, I'm a Star Wars nut, and when they can work in any time they work in Star Wars, I like that. And
If memory
they did.
serves, they kind of did that for the Obama votes.
Mm-hmm.
and it was the whole Disney was the reason why everything was happening, and what you call it? They kind of did the whole bribing into the dark side episode bit. It's like these lightsabers are pretty cool. If you help me, one of these are yours. It's like, you think I'm going to risk all of that for a lightsaber? I can just get one of those at Target. Like, all right, then what do you want? I want a part of the new movie. I want to be Cartman Solo. Like, oh, dude, just come to me in the first place. Great, because I'm also going to need a tauntaun and a blaster.
Yep.
As for me, I really appreciate how they tackled the Family Guy bit, and they brought Muhammad in there again.
Mm-hmm.
It was just manatees getting balls up. It's upsetting that you'll never see this episode on HBO Max because of this whole Muhammad fiasco. But what you call it? But what it was done really hilariously. I'm sure there's some less than legal websites you can see it on, or if you have the DVDs, that also works. But what was really great about it was that they actually got flowers from Matt Groening saying, "Thank you. We really hate The Simpsons. We just never cared enough to say it."
Yeah.
I mean, apparently not enough to have the crossover, but K Sarah Sarah.
So who would you like to see South Park crossover with? If it could be any franchise.
Western or Eastern?
Any.
Any.
Mm-hmm. Any.
I would say Ghost Stories, because if we look at Ghost Stories, the
Cool.
dubbed version, it's basically the 4 kids from South Park solving what's called murder mysteries with ghosts. Like, you got the religious girl, you got the Jewish boy, you got the retarded kid, you got the talking cat. It seems like a South Park episode.
Man, I wanted to see Teen Titans go. Teen Titans go to South Park.
They really fall from grace with Teen Titans Go.
Really? You don't like Teen Titans Go?
Yeah, if I'm high, I'll like it. It's like, seriously, that show is just pop in an edible and laugh your ass off about it. But if you're taking it with serious candor, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man, my kids love Teen Titans. It was like one of those shows that are like, okay, no, we're not going to watch Peppa Pig. We could put on Teen Titans Go.
No, but I think this is the whole maturity thing they did in the South Park episode, where Ike's medication was mixed up with the football players, and he was talking about pounding Fufa Strange. Do you remember that episode?
I do not remember that episode.
I think it was like either 16 or 17, maybe 18, around there. It was very hilarious. Ike becomes like a teenager, but he still has his toddler body.
Mm-hmm.
But
I always keep.
Sorry, go ahead.
I always keep thinking, like, okay, South Park is one of those shows I want to start watching while I'm laying in bed, getting ready to go to sleep. And then I try to do that, and I'm like, crap, now I can't go to sleep because I'm laughing too hard. And my wife is like, this isn't funny. This isn't funny. And I'm like, this is flipping hilarious.
Well, actually, that is how, what you call it, how the Canadian actors, what were their names? Terrence and Phillip kind of came to be. A lot of people just saw South Park as toilet humor, so they created Terrence and Phillip to prove that it's not just toilet humor.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I don't know how their mouths work. Like if somebody threw their head, would that be like decapitating them? Like the top part of their heads?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be. I mean, because that's where their brain's at.
I honestly don't know how it works. I mean, you really don't see any teeth on them either. But I love how they do the whole, hey, buddy, relax, guy, kind of a bit.
That's pretty good, actually, man. That's way better than I could do.
Ah, gee, thanks, guy, because I'm not your buddy. I'm not your pal.
Well, Tyler, that's not a bad impression.
Thank you. Again, I don't want to give too much away, but my associate Bradley and I are going to be working on a project, and not that I plan on it, but in case any of our associates, for whatever reason, are unable to perform, I want to serve as a contingency one. So I've been doing a whole bunch of voices. I bet you never saw a guy do it, go engage an accent like this, Chupet.
Very nice. Gambit has a new comic out right now. I think it's on like issue 5. I think he's on the run. But yeah.
Mon Dieu, it's something I get you guaranteed at.
What do you got for Cyclops?
Which version of Cyclops? Because he doesn't really have an accent.
Mm.
But I can definitely do Guglosis. He's big old macho man Russian, strandy savage. He's kind of, how you say, very X-Men style.
Nice. Then you got some Wolverine where you kind of talk a little low. And what are you talking about, bub?
Mon frere, let's just focus on the X-Men, yeah? Wunderbar. We can do the X-Men impressions later.
I like that. Yeah.
But again, they also do the accents really well with the I just like how funny they did the Liu Kim from was it City Walk, or as they say, Shitty Walk? Take all the praise.
Yes.
And then just turns out he was a white guy the whole time because of multiple personality disorder.
So, I don't know. Have you ever watched Paradise PD on Netflix?
I have. It's definitely one of those stoner shows. It's like this guy really comes up with some weird ass shit. And it's kind of weird that a lot of these well-known voice actors are willing to do his works. Tom Kenny, Great Elise Griffin, trying to figure out off the top of my head. Oh, David Kay, just to name a few. Who's that guy we lost recently? Lance something or other?
Oh, Lance Reddick.
Yeah, Lance Reddick.
Mm.
All very talented voiceovers that somehow managed to find their way in that realm of voice acting.
Yeah, man, there's an episode of Paradise PD that just reminds me so much of South Park. It's episode 3 of season 1. And
wow, you have that number to the date.
Yeah. I mean, like, I will go back and watch just this one episode because it's everybody. It offends everybody, and there's just something so funny about that.
I think it's kind of like Yu Yu Hakusho, where my hands are rated E for everybody, my mouth is rated E for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of messed up that Carmen had a whole freaking Nazi walk in the middle of the freaking road. And he just did it for the sake of Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
And I love the part where he starts fighting with Stan about it. He's like, dude, bitch, do not mess with me. I'm 6 feet tall, I can kick her ass. Like, wait a minute, Carbon? It's like, oh. Okay. It's just easily one of the best episodes they've done about it.
Mm.
And during the Imagination Land, they actually had 3 directors on it. They had Mel Gibson, who was the returning one. They had M. Night Shyamalan, and they had Michael Bay. The M. Night Shyamalan was funny because it's like, what if the terrorists were an alien, weren't terrorists at all, but aliens from the future? No, they're definitely terrorists. Okay, but what if instead we were already dead? Okay, he's worthless. Get him out of here. And then they bring in Michael Bay. It's like, okay, now what if we get a big truck that go bosh and bosh? No, those are explosions. We need ideas. I don't know the difference. I know you don't. Get him out of here. And then they actually bring in somebody who knows his shit. Spoiler, Mel Gibson. And the whole time he's rubbing his nipples.
Did you see that Robert Downey Jr. said the only way he would return to Iron Man is if Mel Gibson directed it?
I heard that was a rumor, but that would be interesting. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. The MCU really died when he did, or at least his character did.
Yeah, they
I mean, don't get me wrong. Some
they got little.
aspects were good. I did like
Mhm.
Shang-Chi. I think Aquafina was not necessarily needed. The Spider-Man one was just a freaking godsend. And She-Hulk did have its funny moments. But
Mhm.
overall, comparatively speaking, doesn't need to exist.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just need to take a year off. Marvel MCU, they just need a year of nothing
I mean,
or
let's call
very
speak.
very little.
Marvel's already a well-established franchise. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need to get more well-established.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, they ruined MODOK for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's true.
And it really tells you how low they've sunk when they've already ruined a character who looks like a freaking potato-headed baby man.
Yeah,
Honestly, if they did it with the Patton Oswalt version, it probably would have been better.
agree.
So you did see it?
Oh yeah, on the Hulu show. Yeah,
Yeah, that was funny.
it was hilarious. It's exactly what MODOK should be. Hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, he should be taken seriously, but still funny.
Yeah,
Like, I would say Joker's a funny character, but dude, take him seriously.
I don't know. Like with Joker, I'm fatigued with Joker. I don't want to see Joker for a while. Batman's got a good set of rogues.
I
Like
meant
leave Joker
generally
alone.
speaking,
But
Joker. Not we need Joker
yeah,
for everything. It's
yeah.
like I think Spider-Man and Batman kind of follow the same trope. They both do have multiple villains, but
Mm,
you focus on the same ones. It's like Transformers. Every time there's a new Transformers, you always got to have Optimus Prime and Megatron. Like the only times they really didn't do that were Beast Wars, but that's its own separate continuity.
yeah.
But
Because then it's the Is it Predacons?
oh yeah, Predacons and Maximals,
Yeah, the Maximals. Yeah.
which kind of like what I've noticed about the Transformers lore more than the other lores is
Mhm.
that they can have the same name refer to multiple characters. Because when you think Batman, you think one particular character. It's always Batman. But when you like say we have Inferno, we have the fire truck from Generation 1, and then we have the insane fire ant for Beast Wars. Is just one example.
Mm-hmm.
Different personalities, different continuities, different alternate modes. But it's funny the amount of lengths the characters in South Park will go to for such trivial things. Carmen and Randy more so than any.
Yeah, it reminds me of the old video game uh Postal, where like you just the side missions are like go to the store and get milk, and that's and then everything happens like you know have to pull out your guns and kill a bunch of people and stuff. Yeah,
Which again they kind of break down for the South Park episode with Mel Gibson. Like, well, it cost us this amount of money, but we managed to get our $18 back. But it's the principle more than anything. And then you see freaking Mel Gibson in his underwear driving a truck. It's like, give me back my money.
yeah,
He's like, that's the guy we've been following? He's fucking crazy. Really kind of shows you how Matt and Trey view a lot of celebrities. Which do you remember the movie they were in? Not they were in the puppet movie, Team America: World Police.
hmm
Do you remember FAG,
vaguely.
Film Actors Guild?
Oh God, yes, yes.
Do you know why they chose those celebrities in particular?
Matt Damon.
Yeah, that one. He's like a
No,
retarded Pokemon.
yeah, yeah.
They chose those celebrities in particular because they were all against the going to war with Iraq.
Oh,
Alec Baldwin, I can definitely see there.
hmm
Which
hmm
I'm Alec Baldwin. I'm the most leftist celebrity out there, too. Howdy, folks. My name's Alec Baldwin. Look at my gun.
yep.
Yeah, there was no gun violence awareness then.
Well, look at what he's currently going through.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Kramer of actors now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happened to Kramer? I don't know. What happened to Alec Baldwin. Who? Kind of goes you. But I do agree, Batman has. I don't want to say played out his usefulness because, as far as comics go, he is the third world best-selling comic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great! Now I'm thinking of how the of the perverted episode, where do you remember the episode where all the kids were expected to draw something, or they answer the question, what color was the woman's handkerchief episode?
No, I don't.
Yeah, so they did that. It was we got a turd in the punch bowl. We got a turd in the punch bowl. Not ringing a bell?
No.
But basically, the whole concept is why all these actors and stars, like, why is it that if you give any guy an obscenely amount of cash, they automatically become perverts? You got your Charlie Sheens and all these other myriads of actors and stars
Mm-hmm.
there. I just find that hilarious. It's like, guys, come on. Do we really need to do this? We say we don't do that. We judge them, but we're guys. We do that. And in the end, they just blame it on an alien wizard, which was one of the guys they put in the alien wizard costume. So without any responsibility, like pretty much every South Park episode ends up being. Especially more so with the Prius episode, if you saw that one.
I remember the Prius episode. That's been a long time.
Yeah, that they did Alec Baldwin's acceptance speech on that too.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the smugness of Colorado, the California smugness, and then that's all meeting with the smugness of Alec Baldwin. But honestly, one of the best parodies they made fun of was Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, yes it was.
I love that they managed to get an entire movie in a half an hour parody.
I mean, it's just a lot of walking.
Pretty much, yeah. As good as it is. Well, I mean, it's the only trilogy that makes walking such an epic.
Yeah.
On top of that, did you see about the whole Tolkien name change?
No.
Yeah, you know the character Token Black?
Yeah.
It's not Token.
What is it?
It's Tolkien.
Oh.
The whole time it was Tolkien, but it really wasn't. And it was just done beautifully.
Nice.
It's like the whole time it was Tolkien, but it wasn't. But the way they executed made it seem like we're the racist one for assuming his name was exactly as they wrote it. They even called him out on that. Or like they're calling up Carmen. It's like, hello. It's like, dude, you know that Tolkien was named out of the guy who did Lord of the Rings? It's like, yeah. Well, I remember you wearing a shirt. And, dude, his name is spelled with an L and an I. Tolkien's name is spelled with an L and I. That's fucking gay. Click. And they kind of made Butters the whole Gollum-esque thing with the one tape. It was just beautifully well done. And the one video store, back when those were a thing.
Blockbuster.
No, this is the Two Towers video store.
Mm.
Which shame on Netflix for managing to kill Blockbuster twice.
Yeah. Apparently, Blockbuster is trying to come back with a streaming service.
You know what? I welcome that challenge.
Me
I can
too.
definitely see their anime titles being a lot of stuff that aired on Toonami and Adult Swim. For those of you that don't know, like your Dragon Balls and your Yu Yu Hakusho's and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which would work.
I think so. I think, and it's right for some retroness.
I mean, let's call a spade to spade. People are a sucker for nostalgia. That's why we're seeing so many reboots out.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's Batman reboots, Spider-Man reboots, Turtle reboots, etc., etc. I think they kind of did this in a South Park episode. If they did a South Park reboot episode. But I just love the whole Mickey Mouse thing. It's like, wait, what's South Park? Do I own that shit? Where Randy was the whole weed farmer escapade. You see all the characters like Thor and Cinderella and all the Star Wars guys. It's like,
Yeah.
Mickey, you shouldn't be coordinating with China. Shut up, Thor. You're just paid to look buff and get fan service. No one cares what you think. And the whole banning Winnie the Pooh because somebody said he looks like that guy from China.
And he's not wearing pants.
Well, no, there are several characters that don't wear pants.
Yeah.
Hell, Donald Duck still doesn't wear pants, and he's still allowed, especially with that DuckTales reboot.
Goofy walks Pluto.
Dude, there's a DuckTales episode where the ducks were feeding ducks. You really want to go down this rabbit hole of what the fuck logic?
Right? Exactly.
The only thing I can think of even equivalent would be a human zoo. We have those. They're called jail.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, it's just, what's the takeaway from this episode? Is that South Park knows how to throw punches as well as they can take it, and a lot of media doesn't really know how to do that.
That is 100% accurate.
So as far as South Park goes, they will tackle anything and everything within their power to do so. Broadway, they've done it. Kaiju's, done it. Serial murders, done to death. They've even done Marvel.
True crime.
True crime, yeah.
Yep.
Whatever ethnicity or religious or mental, what would you call it? Mental deficiency?
Yeah.
Because I know they did an episode about the Special Olympics. I mean, that one's definitely, you'll hate. This was one of those, like, I think this episode was inspired by The Ringer, or The Ringer was inspired. Either way, it has something to do with The Ringer. Although, to be fair, Cartman's reason was more petty than the original movie counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you know what, this is easy. I'm going to win this. But it turns out he placed very last. And they also managed to tackle steroid use.
Yep.
So, Bradley, one more time, thanks for taking the time to be on my show.
Thank you so much for having me, man. It's always a pleasure.
One more time, who are you? Where can we be found? How can we get a hold of you?
Yes, you can find me anywhere under The Fandemic, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Twitter, anywhere that you like to go on the socials. Look up The Fandemic. You will find me, my podcast. Feel free to say hi. I like to talk. If you ever want to come on my podcast, just reach out. I like to talk to people.
Terrific. Stay tuned for more wonderful content. And if you like this episode, feel free to like, subscribe, add all those wonderful hashtags, and support me on Patreon. Because as much as a brother likes talking to y'all, he doesn't do it for free. But no matter what you decide to do, remember, stay geeky.